Hey, it's Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life, where I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon right now. So, if you've been following my journey, you'll know that I've just finished the 9th week of breakup from my ex. So, yeah, it seems quite a long time ago now. 15th of April was when I officially broke up with him. And that would have been 9 weeks yesterday. And so I'm now just gone into the 10th week, but I wanted to explain to you that week 9 has been so much better for me because week 8 I was struggling more. I was kind of going backwards a bit, but week 9 has been so much better. And something took me by surprise though that I wasn't expecting. So I've been interviewed, which hasn't aired yet, for a YouTube show called Shifts, Choices, Love, Laughter. Oh, Love, Laughter Lifts, sorry. I've got it. Shifts, Choices, and Laughter Lifts is actually the proper name for it. So I've just gone to Marcella's channel. So I always think it's such a strange and unusual channel name, but obviously it stands out for that reason. And I was interviewed on this channel by Marcella, and she wanted to know different things to what I've been interviewed before on other channels, other podcasts, and other radio shows. She wanted something different from me. So she wanted to know the real me, more about my personality, detached from asexuality, if you like. I explained that asexuality is a big part of my life, but she didn't just want to talk about asexuality. She wanted to talk about my fibromyalgia, and she asked me about the breakup, which I wasn't expecting. So this really shocked me. I didn't expect to have an interview, which is unedited because she doesn't edit her videos, raw and real, which she's going to put out this month because of Pride Month, because I'm asexual. And I just wasn't expecting the question. And she asked me, so what happened? Because you were in a relationship which seemed like it was just for 2 weeks only. And you were saying this guy was your soulmate, you kind of announced it to the world, and then it was like, he's not your soulmate, and that was it, and like the relationship's over. She's like, what happened? And I knew that she was angling for knowing whether it was an age gap thing or a sexuality thing. And I straight away wanted to nip that in the bud because my breakup had absolutely nothing to do with my asexuality, right? It wasn't to do with age gap. It wasn't to do with sexuality. It was to do with a difference in values. And so I explained this to her because I didn't want people to think that, the reason why we broke up was because of my asexuality, because he was heterosexual, I am asexual, but that had nothing to do with it. And so she really put me on the spot and I wasn't expecting it. But the good thing about it is it really has helped me even more to get over my ex, because the person who is the host, she is trained in counseling skills. She actually helps people through traumatic relationships and to heal themselves. And she's understands neuro-linguistic programming. She's done a lot of training and relationship training and stuff like that. So it was so shocking to have this question, but it was so insightful what came back out of this. And so I explained that it had nothing to do with sexuality or age gap, it was to do with values. And I knew she'd want me to dive deeper into what that actually meant. So I explained to her that he valued dishonesty and deception, and he didn't respect my time. And then she started to understand. And I explained that when I was in the relationship, one day he turned up to the video call like an hour and 10 minutes late. Then he turned up to a video call late, but messaged me about it. Then he turned up to a video call again late, but he was 7 minutes. But it's not the point. He was late and he was disrespecting my time. And I said, I worked on a different time scale to him. He finished like his job at 7. And well, he did 9 to 5 job, but by the time he got home, it was about 7. And so I said to Marcel that I usually get up at midday and then work through till 4 a.m. in the morning. So I was eating into my work time. And he said to me, that he was angry with me, that I was angry with him, and he felt disrespected by me, like I was disrespecting him, and that he would be happy if the girl was like 5 minutes late, quarter of an hour late, half an hour late. So he completely disrespected my time, and that was like a boundary and standard that I couldn't accept. And even on the I even offered to change the time, and he said no. And when I explained the fact that I was angry with him for being late, but it seemed to like be something that he thought that's okay to be late. And then he got angry with me that I was angry with him, which I had a right to be angry. And that he said I was disrespecting him when he was disrespecting my time. Marcella actually said that's gaslighting. And it was just so good to hear someone else say that, because she does relationship and trauma healing, and she has got counseling skills, so she knows what she's talking about. And I said, yeah, I'm not sure if it's just narcissistic traits he's got or full-blown narcissism, I don't know. But when she said that's narcissistic, it was just a huge relief for me to hear someone else say that about my ex rather than me saying that about his behavior. Because when you're in the relationship, when someone's blurring your reality and gaslighting you, it's completely confusing. Like, is it their fault? Is it my fault? Like, what's going on? Because he just turned it around on me and like wouldn't talk to me basically for the majority of 2 nights, which is like silent treatment, which is punishing, and it was just awful. And so when I explained to her about this, she understood, and I said, yeah, I've attracted narcissists in the past. She said, oh. And I said, yeah, so obviously I've got work to do on myself. And she said, yeah, what a beautiful lesson he's taught you, as in not to, not to be with that type of guy. Like, the warning signs I can see now, and I'll be looking for different things in another relationship, obviously. And so he wasn't, he didn't portray himself to be that in the beginning. So this week has been so much better because I was interviewed by Marcella last week about this. And although it shocked me, it was just so good to hear another person say that's narcissistic. Because it's my responsibility. I got into a relationship with him, and I've got to now understand the patterns of behavior that goes with a narcissist. I've got to understand to not get too excited too soon about someone when they're portraying themselves to be something that actually later on they turn out not to be that type of person. It was just a facade. It was just a show. It was just like in the moment they were doing that, but that's not their true self. And then their true self came out, which isn't very nice towards me. Right. So that's the work I have to do on myself, which is why I joined Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, and I'm getting a lot of coaching and training about this type of thing. It's not just me that goes through this. There's a lot of women, professional women, high quality women, high value women that also go through this. And that's what I love about the Love Life Club. People don't frown upon each other and judge each other for getting in another relationship with the person who's not healthy or good. It's all about taking the lessons you learn from each relationship and encounter, if you like, and situation in dating, and trying to learn from that as best as possible, and understanding the kind of warning signs or things to look out for, and understand how we behave in relationships, as in we can all get overexcited and jump in too soon. But I did hold my hands up and say it's my mistake, that I thought he was my soulmate when he wasn't. And so I said that it's important people know that they can, if they get into a relationship, then they can actually get out of it quickly again if they know that it's not right for them. And she said, yeah, well done for me for getting out of it, quickly, because I did get out of it quickly. Yeah, it wasn't that long that I was in the relationship with him, and I could have just been like so embarrassed or worried about what people think. So I declared he was my soulmate, then found out he wasn't. But I want to be an inspiration to other people that you don't have to do that. You don't have to put on some sort of facade for other people because you declared someone meant everything to you, the love of your life, your soulmate or whatever, and you got it wrong. It's okay to hold your hands up and say, I made a mistake, and get out of that situation as quickly as possible. As quickly as you can, as quickly as you're able to. It's okay to hold your hands up and say, I made a mistake. It's okay to do that in public. It's okay to do that quickly, right? because I could have just hidden that. I could have just been like, "Oh my God, I've announced it to the world." Obviously, there's hundreds and thousands of people that watch his channel, and I could have hidden that. I could have been like, not shown these breakup videos. And the reason I'm doing these breakup videos is so that if you're watching this right now and you've gone through heartache and heartbreak and pain and broken up with someone, I want you to know that it's okay that you're having heartache and pain and breakup. It's not good, but you will get through it. I want to show you my journey. We're on week 9 now. I won't be doing this forever. In fact, I didn't even kind of really want to talk about him again tonight. But I know in week 8, I had a lot of struggle. I was still kind of pining after him in some circumstances, thinking, oh, I want to be cuddled by him in bed and I'm missing him. But now I'm like, not even thinking about it. I'm like, he was narcissistic, Sandra. Marcella said he was. You've got someone else who's actually put it in perspective. That is how he was behaving towards you, narcissistic. I'm not saying he's actually a narcissist, but he was behaving narcissistically towards me. And so that is just horrendous, right? And it did traumatize me by the time that relationship ended. But I think it's important for me to hold my hands up, say, yeah, I made a mistake thinking he was my soulmate. I did get into a relationship really quickly, which is my fault for accepting a relationship and getting into it quickly, or allowing that to happen and saying, I don't want to date you, I don't want you to be. I mean, it's important to not get too intimate with someone, unless you're actually in a committed scenario. But the thing is, I allowed things to go into a relationship too quickly. So I kind of know why I did it, but they talk a lot in the Love Life Club about anxious attachment style, and anxious attachment styles do want safety. So we kind of like rush to try and make things as safe as possible for ourselves. But that sometimes means rushing a relationship with a person that might not be good for us, because we haven't really taken the time so much to get to know them, because it's an anxiety thing where it's like, oh, we need to name this because it's too anxiety inducing not for it not to be called something. And right now, I'm just so happy to be single. I don't actually want to get into a relationship anymore. I'm really happy that I'm not doing online dating anymore. I'm not active online dating. I am running my 3 asexual dating groups, but I'm not active like seeking anyone anymore. At the moment, I feel like I'm happy being single. I want to be single forever. That's my mindset at the moment. I'm not saying it's always going to be like that, but that's where I'm at now. I'm a lot more productive. I've started this weekly planner. I can't get everything done. I haven't done everything in these days at all, but I've got an actual physical planner now, and I find that's better than having an online one or just having stuff in my diary, because I'm finding I want something physical, big, that I can hold, that's in my face. This is what you're working on today, Sandra, and I can wipe it off whenever I want, scrub it out and put more stuff on there. So I want to like have something that's in my face, because otherwise I just don't feel I'm well organized enough. And I did start having a planner. It was like 7 pages long, and I just looked at it and got overwhelmed. So I thought, if I can cram as much as possible into these little squares, you'll see that some have got 3 things in there. In one little square, 4 things. But that makes me really happy. So at the moment, like, I'm feeling much better. I went to the cinema for a self date yesterday. So I was at my parents' at the weekend, and I just felt so much better. I felt like my soul was almost fitting like a complete glove within inside me. Me and my kind of soul self was hardly apart. It's like the soul self is here, I'm here, and we're so close. And I felt so gorgeous and sexy and beautiful. Yes, even though I'm asexual, I like feeling sexy, not sex. I like feeling sexy, hot, and beautiful for myself. I like looking gorgeous for myself. I like going down the high street thing, and you look so gorgeous, you look so sexy, you look so hot, you look so beautiful, you're amazing. And I'm saying these positive words to myself all the time, which is just increasing my confidence. But I tell you what, I feel so much more confident being a single person. I don't feel confident and safe being in a relationship anymore with anyone. I'm not saying that can't change, but I just, like, in terms of romantic relationship, I just, at the moment, I just don't want a romantic relationship. I don't want to go back on the dating scene. I don't want to be dating anyone. I just want to focus on my career. And I see that at least being for the rest of this year, because I'm not interested. I love myself. I love not being anxiety induced by being in a relationship or dating scenario, potential relationship. I can't stand that at the moment. It just drives me up the wall. I'd rather look after myself. I've got enough health issues. I don't need any more. Right. So I need to keep my stress levels down. But I feel like so much better this week. I feel, yes, I've had it confirmed by a psychological professional, if you like, as his behavior was narcissistic, and it's good I'm not in that relationship anymore. It's good that things have ended quickly and not stayed in it that long. It's good that I'm working on myself and learning the lessons I need to learn from that relationship, and it's just so good that I feel so much better and beautiful and pretty in myself. Yes, when I go out, like I still get attracted to younger foreign guys, and when I'm on this going to the cinema, there was a guy who was aesthetically really beautiful, foreign, short dark hair, clean shaven, gorgeous looking, and I did smile at him and say hi, and he smiled at me and say hi. So I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to have that little exchange. It makes me feel good. It's a bit flirty and fun, and that's it. And, I'm like, it's really nice because it's good for my self-confidence and self-esteem. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I mean? It's lovely when a guy says, like, hi to me and smiles in that way, and I love it when they reciprocate. Not every guy reciprocates who I smile at and say hi to, but, he did, and that was really nice. And then at the cinema, when I was watching the movie, it was really weird because I had this British guy who worked at the cinema, and he was asking me how I felt about the movie. Did I like it? Should he watch it? I'm like, "You work at the cinema, haven't you seen it yet?" And he's like, "No, only came out a few days ago, and I was wondering where to see it or not." I felt like he was chatting me up because I'm like, I have had guys before though ask me what I thought of the movie. They have made some talk before, but I wasn't sure. But I just felt this guy, he was a young British guy, I just felt he was chatting me up a bit. But I did look gorgeous. I mean, if I was a guy and I was into my look and I was single, I'd be chatting me up as well, probably. And I'm saying this from a self-confidence, self-love point of view, not from an egotistical point of view. If people don't think I look good, that's fine. If people don't enjoy the way I look or like the way I look, I'm okay with that. I just so into the way I look myself, and I feel that's so good because my confidence, my self-confidence has really kicked to the curb in the last relationship, and I end up being more worried about him than me. And now it's like I feel like I've got loads more self-love, loads more confidence, loads more self-esteem, and I just feel so much better. So at week 9 of the breakup, I'm feeling so much better, so good. I feel like, I can take on the world a lot more. I feel a lot more centered and grounded in my own emotions. I feel like I can emotionally regulate myself again. I feel better off without him. I'm glad that he's left my life. I'm glad that I'm now really pushing full steam ahead with all my stuff that I've got to get done that I've been behind with this year because of ill health as well, before I met him, not just while I was with him. And afterwards as well, I injured my back, so I've been putting people into groups, which has been outstanding for weeks, and I mean weeks. Like, some people have had to wait a long time, months, to get into my groups, which isn't good, but it just goes to show you that I won't just quickly put people in my groups because if they're not the right fit for my groups, I don't want that person in there. And there was someone I let through who said they were asexual, and I thought they were genuine, but as soon as they went in the group, they made a really disrespectful comment, pretty disgusting. So I removed their comment and told them it's inappropriate. It looks like they removed themselves from the group before I was able to, and I've removed them from my mailing list. I do not need that sort of speak coming into my group. So, although I might take a long time to get people in the groups because I don't want to rush and I try to vet people as much as possible, I think it's important people know that I won't just allow anyone in the group. Some people are like, "Oh, why haven't you got thousands of people in your groups like other asexual groups do?" That's because I really try hard to vet the people that come into my groups. I do decline people. I don't accept everyone in my groups. Right? And I make sure that I go through people's profiles and see as much as possible, like, are they telling the truth? If their answers aren't particularly good, or they haven't answered all the questions or any of the questions, then I do especially pay attention to that. But sometimes people get in there that are not supposed to be in there, if you know what I mean. They're not team players in the group. So, I'd rather have less members than have people that are not really asexual, people that are trolls come in the group, people that are fake accounts coming in the group, people that are making disgusting comments, people that are coming in and they're pretending that they're sweet and innocent, really they're not, so it's really important. But this week I've been a lot more productive so far. I've been on the ball more. I've been doing my affirmations, I've been watching, helping my health as much as possible, which is a major focus of mine at the moment. I've been doing exercise and a bit of dancing some days because the physio said to try and do some dancing, and I've really been trying to focus on myself. I have made some health improvements, but the fact I've got much more self-confidence now, and I love the way I look, and I think I'm beautiful, and I wear beautiful clothes going to the cinema just for myself. The self-dating is really helping increase my confidence, increasing my confidence no end. The feeling beautiful and sexy and hot within myself. Like when I'm going down the high street, shh, don't tell anyone this. You can't tell people if you want. I literally think to myself, like, work it, baby. Like I'm like my own little coach going, work it, like work that bum. I know this is really weird, isn't it, for an asexual, but I'm like, work that bum, move your bum like it's so gorgeous for myself, because I just find this type of thing is really nice. I'm like, move the bum, great, and like work the hair, baby, like move the hair back or flick the hair around. Your hair looks so beautiful. Work your hair, move your body really confidently. And this is all like helping with self-confidence. It's Pride Month, and it's important to have pride in our appearance. It's important to have pride in ourselves and to love ourselves wholeheartedly, all the parts of us, where it's even if you've got some parts of you that are more sexy as an asexual. I think it's important to embrace those parts of you. Everyone's different on the different parts of the asexual spectrum. I'm not interested in sex with other people. I'm not interested in having sex. Right, I made this clear in my interview as well, where I was talking about the breakup, you know, but I'm not interested in having sex, but I do like, I do self-date, and I didn't go into everything like that, but I wanted to tell you that I do like it. When I'm going down the high street, I'm literally saying, you're gorgeous, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're hot. Work that bum, baby, work that hair, baby, move, stand up, tall, be really proud of yourself, walk with confidence. And it really helps. Like I do affirmations every morning. I listen to affirmations, and every night before I go to bed, I listen to affirmations now. But when I do this positive self-talk to myself, which is a bit of sexy talk, saying I look hot and I'm gorgeous, and work your bum and work your hair and move like really, like woo, like it is a bit sexy towards myself. But I'm thinking this in my head. I'm saying it to my head, in my head. I'm not saying it out loud, but I just love being confident for myself. And I've learned through coaching in other people's programs, if you want to be confident, you need to act more confident and put your shoulders back and be proud of who you are, be open, and warm and smiling. So I go down the high street now smiling about myself. People must think, what's she on, or what? Is she on some fizzy stuff or what? Yeah, I don't take fizzy drinks anymore, but thanks. But you know what I mean? It's just like, I like being confident for me, and to see the transformation in this 9th week of breakup compared to the 8th week has just been an incredible shift. Like I feel a lot more centered. I feel a lot more like Sandra again. But I feel like I'm getting more powerful and strong within me. The more I knock off my my goals of what I need to do, like get myself sorted in what I'm doing for asexuals, like putting people into groups. I then got to do newsletters because I'm behind with them. I haven't done one for a while, and keep up with my blogs and stuff like that. The more I do this type of stuff, the more I feel more powerful and strong. So actually being productive is really helpful for, like forgetting about my ex, and the more progress I make as an individual on myself, the more progress I make in terms of how I look for myself, in terms of my confidence and self-esteem in myself, the more I knock off my goals and the more I achieve things, and better I feel about myself, the more I feel I'm progressing forwards towards my dreams. Now I want to get back to really strongly focusing on my book publishing. Good news, I started working today on the Diary Confessions 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life workbook. Now, if you didn't know, this is a bestseller. This book came out in April this year. Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual, 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life. Right? And I've been talking about some of the life lessons in this book. Now, the life lessons are amazing, and not everyone wants to read the whole book. But I think most people would want to know the life lessons in here because they're invaluable. So what I've just started to do is a workbook, create a workbook to go with this book, but you can buy it separately where you just get the 78 life lessons. And a workbook means you work through it yourself. So it'll be like a life lesson. Then I'll be asking you questions. So your diary confessions will be like you confessing stuff to in your own diary workbook, if you know what I mean. And then diary confessions, 78 life lessons to ace your life, diary work. Maybe I should call it a diary workbook because you will be the one that's writing in the book and you'll be working through these life lessons and seeing how they apply to your life or how you can apply them to your life. And I think that's just going to be invaluable. So that's something I started working on this morning. It's something I've been wanting to do for a few weeks now. And I asked someone who'd already built the book if they thought it was a good idea, and they did. And I think it's good because, like I said, not everyone wants to read this whole book, but they want the life lessons in it. But other people want a workbook because they want specifically the life lessons as well in a separate book because it draws attention to the life lessons and the life lessons are what can help you in your life the most. I mean, they apply to what I've written, so it's better to get the whole book, in my opinion, and get the workbook as well. But it does mean that people have got options, which is always a good thing. And so I think that's really important. So, I want to get back to working on all my writing, because I've also got another book, Diary Confessions book after this one, which was number 2, but the workbook's probably going to have to be number 2. And then the other Diary Confessions is probably going to have to be number 3 that isn't fully written yet. And I'm also working on Heartache and Heartbreak, how to get over heartbreak book. So when I'm doing these videos each week for like the last 9 weeks, including this week, I'm going to be putting a lot of this stuff in a book so that you can actually buy it. So that if you are going through heartache and heartbreak and pain, you can see what I've been doing each week throughout the 9 weeks in order to transform my life to get over heartache. I'm not completely over it yet. I'm not going to say I am. I'm still, I think, in some of the grieving situation, but not really so much. It's more like the healing, processing and healing part of the stage, right? Not much in the upset about missing him anymore, more like the processing what's happened and becoming more and more confident in myself and more alive again within myself and more confident. I think I'm going to be more confident. But the thing is I don't actually feel like I want a relationship anymore. I feel like I want to be happy being single for the rest of my life. Now, I'm not sure if that's just the mindset I've got at the moment, but I think it's a good mindset for me to have at the moment because I'm not fully healed. And the trauma of that whole situation is going to take some time to get over. I think the actual guy I'm getting over now a lot more, but the actual trauma, I think that still has quite an impact. And I literally don't want a relationship this is like the first time in my life that I really don't want a relationship. I want to be single. I'm happy being single. I don't want to get back into a relationship. I love being on my own. I wouldn't say on my own as in having, not seeing any friends or anything like that, but on my own as in like being single, not in a relationship. I find that I'm much more relaxed and calm and happy and in control of my life. And I just see that, I can fulfill all my dreams on my own and I'm much better on my own. I did find some other aspects of the relationship difficult. Like I found like timing's really difficult, but I mentioned that earlier. I found it really hard. But obviously they just respected my time anyway, which didn't help. Like I couldn't have really a decent conversation about working that type of stuff out. So we're both happy. It just wasn't going to happen. So they weren't the right person for me. But to be honest, I just want to focus on my career and my business stuff and writing and self-dating and going to events. And I just want to focus on me. I think for too long I've been on dating sites for like 10 years and it's a lot, and I don't want to waste any more of my time on those dating sites where I just wasn't really getting the quality of guys that I wanted to come through. Every guy I met off Facebook dating in person, all of them lied, including my ex. But there are 3 other guys that I met in person as well. I'm not interested in that anymore. I can't be bothered. I'm more powerful and strong on my own. I've noticed this. I don't even know if I can ever have a relationship ever again because at the moment I just don't want one. Like part of the Love Life Club, Matthew Hussey's Love Life Club, he's given us a challenge. We have to write down our different for this Thursday. I haven't done it yet. We have to write down our different plans for a relationship for the future. But my plan A at the moment is to be happy being single forever. My plan B is to get into a relationship with a foreign guy, like an Indian guy. But that's my plan B now. It's not my plan A anymore. My plan A is to stay happy being single forever. My plan B is to get into a relationship with an Indian guy and be happy ever after. My plan C is to get into a relationship with some other guy who's not Indian and live happily ever after. Like, this is like my actual plan A is to be with myself single forever. Currently, that's my plan A. I can change my plans, but that is my plan A. I don't want to be in a relationship with anyone. I don't like it. I just think it's too anxiety inducing for me. It's too insecure for me. I just don't want to go down there. And I think I've wasted so much time. I've wasted 10 years of my life, if you know what I mean. I haven't wasted it because I've got all that dating experience. So obviously, I can help people on this channel. I can help people in a future book. I can help people navigate online dating. I'm good at going in guys' inboxes. I'm good at talking to guys in that way. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm not interested. They're just such low quality guys who don't even deserve my time or energy, and I want to use all that time and energy that I was putting into that on me. I've been going through a dating detox at the same time as actually breaking up, and that is really difficult. So for 10 years I've had guys in my inbox. I could always go to different guys on different dating sites, basically different dating apps, and I could, every week I could message different guys, speak to different guys from different cultures, different backgrounds. So it was interesting. I had guys in my inbox telling me I'm beautiful and gorgeous all the time, which of course is great for the ego, but you know what I mean. There are some good points to dating, if you like, but online dating. But at the end of the day, I just was putting so much time, energy, and effort into that, and it makes you really anxious. And then the people aren't right anyway. And I'm not interested in wasting my time, energy, and effort on that anymore. I know that I can propel my life forward much better by just focusing on book writing, which is going to make me happy, and other things to do with book writing and helping asexuals. I want to continue growing this channel, when I continue writing my books, and that's what makes me happy. And I did say at the beginning of this year that I want to get published 6 books this year. So far, I've done one. This one, which was a bestseller, a #1 hot new release on Amazon.com and Amazon.co.uk, but bestseller in both of those. What I mean? Don't forget to grab a copy from Amazon, by the way. And that's just a humongous achievement. I actually published this the day I split up with my ex, and I published it in the Kindle version the day I split up with my ex. Published it in the paperback the day after I split up with my ex, and within the 4 days, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, it become #1 hot new release on Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, and bestseller in 3 categories on both. So this book is an international bestseller. I'm so proud of that. As soon as I broke up with him, I'm like, yes, I'm so successful without him. I didn't expect I'd be so successful without him, but I just keep being more and more successful. But I don't want to hurt anyone in the process. He's the type of guy that will do whatever it takes to be successful, but in a way that he doesn't care about other people, in the sense that I know he cares about his family, so I'm not saying he cares about no one, but I mean, he didn't really care about me in the end. You know what I mean? His money's more important to him. That's what I'm saying in general. So, and he'll lie and deceive for personal gain, and I won't do that. So I'm just really proud of me. I just really wanted to let you know, week 9 has been so much better. I think it's good when you can hear someone else actually say, yes, the person's behavior was narcissistic. I think it's really important when you can have that kind of like reassurance. I think it's really important when you can feel more confident and comfortable in yourself, where you can feel happier in yourself, where you can feel motivated in yourself, where you can actually see your beauty and see all the good qualities about you, and just really feel into that. The more you can feel confident in your own body, your own skin, with your own hair and your own face and your own power, the better your life will be. Like, I feel my soul is now literally nearly within me. Usually I have like kind of a coaching soul, an intuitive soul, and a coaching soul, and that kind of soul got lost before. I was so disconnected from her. You know what I mean? But now I feel like we're super close. Like, she could like nearly fit into me. We're gonna still be a bit separate, right? Because I still want to be alive, and we're kind of a little bit separate. But you know what I mean? I just feel so close to myself. And this is just so good. I feel this is much more healthier for me. It's much better for me. I feel I don't even miss online dating anymore. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I do still get attracted to foreign guys. Yes, I do still think about maybe I would let a guy kiss me in a club one day again. And and Indian guy, for example, says something really sweet to me, it does make pull my heartstrings a little bit still. It's like, "Oh, that's really nice. Why don't you approach me then for dating?" And I'm like thinking, sadly, you don't want to date. So there is still a bit of hyper romanticism that takes over in me. And then I remind myself, this guy is not suitable for you. So you need to park that thought there because he's not right for you. So stop it and just forget it and move on. Right. So sometimes you have to, excuse me, take control of your mind and say, this is not a good thing to think. I appreciate you thinking it. It's okay to think it because everyone has natural thoughts and feelings, and you have to respect yourself and love yourself enough to validate those and say, hey, that's fine. You've got these feelings, you've got these emotions. It's okay. It's natural, especially for a hyper romantic. But you've also got to say, look, this is where it stops because you can't go any further with this because the person isn't right for you. So I think this is a really important lesson to learn. But use the techniques that I've used if you can to help yourself become more confident and feel better after a breakup if you're still struggling. Like, I don't know where you are in your breakup journey. Maybe you're not even broken up. Maybe you haven't had heartache, heartbreak, and pain yet. Or maybe you have had it in the past, or maybe you are still going through it. But I think it's important to learn from these videos. Like, this is the 9th video in the series now. You can just search in my videos for breakup. And then it will come up with all these videos so that you have like a ready-made template for what's helping me in my journey to help you in your own journey if you're trying to get over heartache and heartbreak and pain. It's really interesting because in the Love Life Club earlier, Audrey Hussey was talking about remembering good times with your ex. I went through this before with you. I said, don't focus on the good times you had with him, focus on the actual realistic stuff, which was the bad times, the times that that person wasn't good, instead of putting them on a pedestal, the times they weren't nice to you, the times they anxiety induced you, the times they stressed you out, the times that they weren't kind, caring, and considerate, the times where they weren't respectful, because otherwise all we do is have rose tinted glasses, right? But something she said I'd already done on this channel, which you can see. And she said, oh, when you think about the good times, don't just think about the other person. Think about the fact that you were there for those good times. You were the one laughing and joking and smiling with them. You were the one who was helping to make that a good time. It's not just them. And what did I say in this video? Live stream, like only a couple of weeks ago, I think it was. It might be a bit longer ago that I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think it was maybe week 6 or something, but anyway, check back in those videos. And, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But within these videos, I have said that, the good times, the question was like, should you remember the good times you had with your ex? And what came out of that was the only time you should remember it is to remember the fact that you helped to create those good times without you being a good reciprocant, without you taking part in that and being willing to take part in whatever happened in those moments to make it a good time, that would be no good times. So the good times in your relationship in the past weren't all due to that other person. They were due to you as well, to do with you holding space for that person, to do with you acknowledging what they were doing, to do with you being receptive of that, to do with you enjoying it in the moment, to do with you, reciprocating back, or doing things back to them, making them have a good time as well. And so I thought it's really good that I'm already ahead of what Audrey said in the sense of what I actually said on these videos. And she said that tonight to someone about it wasn't just them gave you the good times, you contributed to that. And that should help you get over the breakup. And that's something I already advised you of on this channel, that I come to a realization of myself. So I feel so proud of myself for being able to give that advice on this channel when, Audrey and Matthew Hussey, they've kind of got a lot of experience between them. And her husband Matthew Hussey's the #1 dating coach and confidence coach in the world, like on YouTube and in the world, pretty much. So it's really important that I am learning these lessons for myself without even knowing that that's what they would advise. So always remember that you contributed to the good times for them. Without you being willing participant, they wouldn't have even had a good time. So we can take our ex off the pedestal. We can stop making him, or whatever gender you're into or was into, the thinking they're the bee's knees or they're so wonderful. And we can start bringing down to earth the reality of the situation, that no, they weren't always wonderful. They weren't always good. Maybe in the beginning they were, but then they showed their true colors, and So we need to take the reality of the situation as a whole, not just the good times, but we contributed to those good times without us being there, receiving what they were doing or being with us at the time, and us reciprocating that. It wouldn't have been a good time. Imagine if we said, hey, I'm not interested in this right now, I don't want to do this. The atmosphere would have been really sour, right? So I think I mentioned before that my ex, in the beginning, when he's been nice to me, put candles all around the hotel room and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, if I hadn't have liked that, if I'd have said, "What the hell are you doing? That's just crap," then then it wouldn't have been good experience, would it? But instead, I thought, "Oh, I said it's really romantic." You know what I mean? And I was receiving that. I told him about loads of love songs that I liked for me and him, and then he made us like a playlist together. Right, this is when he was being nice and kind to me before he was being narcissistic and or before I noticed he was being narcissistic, you know? So we have to understand like what the reality was in the situation. And now I don't put him on a pedestal like I used to. I'm not saying I don't do it at all, but now I see the truth of him. I'm like, Sandra, why do you even need that guy in your life? You don't. You can be so much better without him. You know, he was lucky that he had you in his life for that short period of time, and it's good that you've moved on. It's good that you are literally busting through the tasks that you've needed to catch up with so long. It's good that you're focusing on your health now. It's good that you're focused on yourself. So yeah, focus on yourself, be productive, focus on your goals, your present and your future goals. Picture what you really want in life. Work on what you really want, not what everyone else thinks you should be doing, because you'll get a lot of people saying, do this, do that, and the other. And it's really important to keep focusing, because I keep focusing on the fact I love writing. I need to focus more on my book publishing business. I need to get back to doing that. There are certain things that I've had to kind of put more of a priority over that because they have been lacking. I've needed to catch up with them for a few months and I'm still getting through that stuff. But once I'm fully finished, like I'll be able to, you know, like just maintain that by being disciplined and get into good habits, which is why I started this big planner, you know, in my face planner, because I work better like that. I'm like, what can I do? Like online productivity stuff is not, well, apps is not good for me. Like I'm writing checklists by Word document. It's like 7 pages long. It's just too overwhelming. I can't even look at it. So I'm like, yes, Sandra, get a big thing that's in your face that you can just have a one thing. This is it. And you can like literally just move it around your home and say, this is what I'm working on today, and change things around, because it's one of those whiteboard things. So I think it's much better for me to do that. I feel more organized already just by having some sort of organization, but I'm writing it out as I go each day rather than writing it out the night before, because I think, you know, kind of know what I need to do the day. I kind of need to know what I need to do the next day, because if I haven't done stuff from the previous day on here, I'm like putting on the planner for the next day and moving it on and on. So at the moment, I'm still catching up with Monday because I had a self date on Monday, so I didn't get a lot of that done. So yeah, so make your weekly planners, be organized, rely on yourself a lot more, because if you have self-reliance, it helps you to be on your own a lot more. It helps you to feel good being on your own, make yourself feel as secure and as happy as possible. Keep decluttering your home. I've still got to get rid of some stuff. I've still got more decluttering to do. I find that I've put stuff ready for decluttering, or I've got moved some stuff, but it needs to actually either be sold or taken to the charity shop or binned, you know. So I've still got that to work on. So I think it's important to keep decluttering your space, keep changing it around as well. Any little things in your environment you can change to make things better, to move your life forward, to think, okay, you know, how can I improve my living space? How can I grow myself as a person? What can I do to help myself with my future plans? How can I pull myself forwards? Right. So when you're moving forwards in your life, when you're thinking about the future and you're planning for the future and you're taking action for the future and you're catching up on things, it just creates like a lot of motion, which in turn creates a lot of momentum. And it's like a chugging effect, you know, like a train. It goes choo, 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 choo. And that means, you know, it feels like you're energetic. It feels like you've got a higher vibration frequency, and you're, yeah, moving your dreams and like bringing them forward, bringing them forward, bringing them forward. Come on, you know, a bit like when you're skiing down a hill as well. Yeah, bring it forward, baby, bring it forward. And so this just helps you feel stronger in your mind and your spirit and your soul. It helps you to feel better about yourself. Right? People who stagnate in life, who don't do anything, who don't progress their life, they die inside, right? They feel groggy. So the more you can do to push yourself to create a better future for yourself and a better present for yourself, the more you'll leave that past with your ex behind, because you think, I'm not that person anymore, or my circumstances have changed. I don't feel that way anymore. My environment's changed somewhat. It might have only changed a bit. I've got rid of some stuff when my ex was here. I've achieved these things which I hadn't done when my ex was in my life. I'm self-dating every week now, well, I didn't get to do it between Monday and Sunday last week because I was seeing my parents on Sunday, so I had to self-date yesterday. So I was a day later than I usually be, but I planned it that way to make it a day later. So you can shift something like that if you need to, but always keep your promise to yourself of self-dating. The more you keep your promises to yourself about dating yourself, make sure it happens no matter what. Even if you feel, obviously, if you're to the stage where you might need to go to hospital or you're going to be throwing up and stuff like that, then no. But if it's just a case you feel really tired and you don't feel that great, you know, but you can still get out of bed and go, then go. Don't let yourself down. Keep promises to yourself. Keep telling yourself how beautiful and gorgeous and wonderful. And if you like the word sexy for yourself, use the word sexy for yourself that you are. Keep revving yourself up, keep bigging yourself up, because when you talk positively about yourself, it doesn't really matter so much what anyone else thinks, but you'll radiate positivity, you'll radiate beautifulness, you'll just be glowing. Do you know what it's like for me to be myself again and not happy with a guy who expected me to speak more slowly and didn't, doesn't like watching videos at normal speed. He likes speeding them up because he doesn't like slow speech. Yes, I said that in the interview as well. It's like crazy. It's such a contradiction. Why make me more unattractive for him? I don't care anymore because I don't live for him and I'm not with him anymore. So I live for me now. And it's great because I love my bubbly personality. I love being sparkly girl. I love being happy and energetic and vibrant, and this is Pride Month. It's all about being prideful of who you are, regardless of what anyone else says, thinks, or does. And I think when you're single, personally, I find it a lot more easy to be prideful of who I am as a single person. I have complete power and control over me as a single person, right? I choose where I go. I choose what I say. I choose what I think. I choose what I do. I haven't got anyone telling me what to do. I haven't got anyone letting me down. If I let myself down, fair enough. I haven't got anyone betraying me. I haven't got anyone making me late to the cinema, which is one of my favorite things to go to. I haven't got anyone telling me don't speak like this. I haven't got anyone putting me down. I've got no one gaslighting me, no one belittling me. I am free to be effing me. And do you know something? It's just an incredible feeling. It's like a high octane energy feeling when you're free to be you. This is one of the moments where I love living on my own, because it's like, you've got no one like telling you what to do and no one betraying you and putting you down. So long as you keep your promises to yourself and you keep pushing forward and keep reaching for the stars and thinking of the future and planning for the future, but taking action. Nothing happens without action. If you're not taking action, you won't feel good about yourself, because you'll be like, oh, I'm procrastinating again. I'm not doing anything. So push yourself to take action. It might be really uncomfortable at first. Like, I've got loads of people to put in my asexual groups. The UK asexual group I'm doing is the last group to put people in, because the other ones I've sorted out. A few are pending because I've had to ask people more questions and message them. But there's like 51 requests in that group alone. I'm like down to 20 something now. It's not easy because I have to go through them as much as possible, and think, is this person telling the truth? Like, is this person going to be a good person to get on with the rest of the people in the group and stuff like this? Vet people a little bit, because I take pride in who I let in my groups. I don't just let anyone in my groups. And I think when you take pride in stuff like that and you take pride in yourself and you don't just accept anyone coming into your life or into your groups, it's much better. My confidence, I remembered before I got into a relationship with that guy that my confidence was high. Now it's even higher at the moment because I'm not on dating sites anymore. Dating sites actually personally dragged my confidence down in some ways, not in terms of my looks, because I had guys all the time telling me I'm gorgeous, beautiful, hot, sexy. And that was really good, if you like, for the ego. And it felt so great. But in terms of like, I got used to rejection as well. But when you're just like sat there messaging people and they're just like such low quality guys, guys who are flaky, can't be bothered to say one word questions or answers, don't really ask you much about yourself, not really good at communicating, and on hookups, want something casual, say they want something serious, but then they're not even staying in the country that long and stuff like that, just lying basically and deceiving. It's just a load of rubbish. There was a guy who I rejected from one of my asexual groups today, because he's like, oh, I don't have any friends, right? And then on his profile, he says, oh, I like doing this, that, and the other with my friends in his bio. And I'm thinking, if you'd have just said you don't have many friends, that's different. But you're saying you haven't got any friends. That's just such a lie. And I won't have liars like that, in my group. I'm just like, you're just a blatant liar to say you don't have any friends. And then you've got, I like doing this with my friends. It's like, well, clearly you've got friends if you're saying you like to do this with your friends, or something very strange is going on, right? But I'm just like, I can't risk it. I can't risk people, being like blatant liars like that in my group. I'm not going to risk it. I don't need to have every single person who applies in my groups. I need to be, confident that the people I let into my groups I've got some level of decency, and some, hopefully they're telling the truth about things. So, it's very important who we let in our lives. It's very important for us to have standards. When we have standards as well, helps us take our personal power back as well. Helps us to feel more in control of our lives. We can't control other people though. Like I said, there was a guy earlier another guy that actually came into my group, and he wasn't who he was really disrespectful and wrote a horrible, rude comment, and I just got rid of him. I got rid of the comment first, said something to him, and then he already removed himself from the group before I did. So, yeah, have standards, get standards back again for what you will and will not tolerate in your life, and make sure you push those into other aspects of your life, like social scenarios, business scenarios, friendship scenarios. I have had to have a hard conversation with someone who's closer to me lately, and that was hard, but it was good because I needed to do that. So that made me feel more confident, because I don't like having difficult conversations, I'll admit it, right? But I know one of the ways to grow confidence is having difficult conversations with healthy people, so that even if you have unhealthy people in your past, if you have a healthy person, they should take it and listen to you and work something out with you. So it's really important to practice having hard conversations with someone who's safe, so that you can grow your confidence back again, particularly if you've lost confidence in the past with breakup. But I'm glad that I stood my ground in that relationship and said about the fact that it's disrespecting me and my time, show up late to video calls and not basically caring about that, my time. And so, like, I don't want to be with a person like that. I want to be with a person who respects me, loves me, adores me, and cherishes me. And that wasn't that person in the end. So I just wanted to make it clear, though, it had nothing to do with age gap or sexuality. It was completely different values. Like I said, he valued lying, deception, and as I've had it confirmed now, he was behaving narcissistic towards me, and he was putting me down some of the time as well. He's making me feel like I was 5 years old the way he talked to me about business, though I knew nothing about it. I even said that to him, like, you speak to me like I'm 5 years old. You know what I mean? So he was the younger one, actually, in terms of birth certificate age, but he was speaking to me like I was 5 years old. Because it doesn't matter to me I like younger guys, but it doesn't matter to me about the age group, in terms of, like, when I'm talking, as far as I'm concerned, we're equals, right? We equally have different experiences, we have different skills, we have different knowledge from our own life, regardless of age, and we're equals, or should be equals in that way. But when you've got someone speaking to you, like, as much to say you know nothing, and speaking to you like you're 5 years old, it's really, really patronizing. So it's also strange that he's the younger one in terms of birth certificate age, but he was one that was more unequal in the relationship, and more like thinking he's better than me. So that's not good for any relationship. A relationship is teamwork. It's a team effort. You can't have a relationship with someone who's just going to be thinking they're better than you. You know what I mean? It's just not going to work. You have to have someone who respects you and you respect them, so you can grow together in a team and help each other become better people, not think that one is better than the other and treat the other person like that. So they were treating me like I was 5 years old, when they were in birth certificate age, actually the younger ones. So it's quite interesting, that. But my point is you don't need all these type of things in your life. You don't need someone being that way with you. And so actually, when you come to the reality of the situation of what was actually going on in your previous relationship before you broke up, I'm sure you'll be able to see that there were things that weren't good about that person, even if you put them on a pedestal at the time, even if you loved the person or still love the person, you know that that person's no good for you. You can't actually love someone in life but still let them go and know they're no good for you. Right? It doesn't matter whether they love you or not in when you've broken up. It's irrelevant because they've got another life now. For all I know, he's probably hooked up with some other girl, probably engaged to her, going to be married to her like tomorrow or something like that. That's the type of guy he strikes me as being, really. So, yeah, I'm glad that I didn't enter into a contract of marriage with him, right? Which, he did say in the beginning that he would have asked me to marry him had I not said that I don't want to get married. However, he still asked me that question, which I haven't ever told you on this channel. When I was like on the bed kissing in between, I was kissing, and then he was, like asking me that in between kissing. I just took no notice. I didn't take him seriously. I'm like, you're asking me that now? And he said it again, and I'm thinking, there's no way. I said, like, I would consider marrying you after you've been in this country 5 years and got a visa of your own accord. Then I'd consider it. But that was it. Otherwise, no. I'm not going to give any guy a visa. I'm not that stupid. Do you know what I mean? So I've always said no to marriage anyway. I don't even know I consider it with him really, but there we go. So yeah, I think it's because in the past I have been engaged years ago, so yeah, but there were that, I'm not interested in that. And I didn't even tell you on this channel that you asked me that because I didn't take it seriously. I mean, if you're going to ask someone to marry you and you're serious, you actually plan it all, you take the person away, you do it properly. You don't just do it like that. It's just like to get the reaction you want. It's like he didn't get the reaction he wanted. So whatever he was after, I'm just like, no. But I know that I know the previous person he was in a relationship with, he asked her to marry him, and he was in an online relationship with her for 8 or 9 months and never even met her and asked her to marry him. So I expect he'll be off chatting some other girl up now, or if he hasn't already chatted her up and, be asking to marry her probably. He seems to want to get married really quickly. Maybe he wants a slave or something. I don't know, but I'm not interested in that. I'm way too independent for that. I'm not interested in housework. I did tell him that. He did actually do the washing up at my place once at the end of our relationship before I knew it was ending. Which I was like, oh, pleased about that. I'm like, because I said I'm not doing that basically. So yeah, I think it's good that, that you recognize the things that were bad in a relationship. Yes, there were some good times, but at the end of the day, if that person wasn't nice to you in the end, then it's good that it ended. And I just feel so much more confident and happier for recognizing all this now. I'm happier that interview I did, although the question shocked me because I never thought I'd get asked that question. I was happy that the person said to me that, oh, that's being narcissistic, the way they were behaving towards me, because like I said, they've got counseling skills, they know what they're talking about, so they know what narcissistic behavior is by the training they've had. They deal with relationship trauma, breakups and healing and stuff like that. So it just felt so good to have that reassurance, that I thought I was being gaslighted. I thought it was a narcissistic trait, but you know what I mean? When someone blurs your reality and makes it think that you're the fault, which is what gaslighting is. They do something that's wrong, and instead of them owning up to it and sorting the problem out, they flip it on you and make you out to be in the wrong and you out to be the bad person, which is what they basically were trying to do to me. And so it does blur your reality. You're like, hang on a minute, especially when they've got a lot of conviction in what they're saying, But I was right that they were doing that to me. And I'm glad that I'm no longer in their mind games and manipulation. I'm free, and it feels so good to be free. Just imagine if I actually stayed with that person, knowing what they're really like now, not the person they painted out to me to be, in the beginning. Just imagine if I'd had to spend the rest of my life with a guy like that. It would have been horrendous. I just couldn't have done it. It's just horrible. I'm just so glad now that I'm free. Yes, it hurt, and I'm not saying there's nothing that hurts still, but I'm feeling so much better now, so much more relaxed, so much looking forward to my own future by myself, so much into myself, so much loving myself, so much more confident in myself, so much happier in myself. But I did want to make it clear that the breakup had nothing to do with the age gap or to do with sexuality, because I'm asexual, he was heterosexual. It had everything to do with values. I value honesty, integrity, reliability, organization, punctuality, timekeeping. He values the opposite. I value people over money. He values, in general, money over people. I value being honest in business and to succeed in life. He values like basically doing whatever he needs to do, dodgy stuff or whatever, to get ahead in life, you know? I value actually taking action on things, making things happen. He values more like just thinking about stuff. You know, it's completely different. He values physical fighting if he's right, and people won't basically think the same as him. You know, and they won't listen to it, you know, they won't agree with him. So he thinks physical fighting's the way, but it's really not. So I'm the opposite to that. Don't like physical fighting. The only time I think you can do it or should do it is in self-defense, not if someone just disagrees with the opinion. Do you know what I mean? It's just like he seemed to be proud of the fact that wars are started like that. It's like, I don't want to be with someone who's got that mentality, you know? I don't want to be with someone who's dishonest and not a team player and putting me down, and who just generally doesn't value me anymore, and not good for me and not respectful, you know, of me and my time. So I'm glad that it's ended. Like I said, I'm not saying everything was bad about the person that's had good times, but I was there for those good times, and I helped create those good times. Without me, he would not have had those great times. I know that for sure, because I know how accepting I was of what he was doing for me or doing with me. So, you know, in the beginning, for example, he was really kind and romantic and we were having laughs and jokes together, but that was me as well. Because at any point I could have turned around and said, I don't want this, and stopped it, and said it's horrible, and not being not reciprocating that, not receiving it. Right? So we have to remember the reality of the situation. We have to stop putting them on a pedestal and realize how good we were in the relationship, how much joy and happiness we brought to those moments. Whenever they were laughing or joking, you know, you equally contributed to that, not just them. So don't give them all the credit. And just be grateful that they're not in your life anymore. Just be so happy and relieved that now you can just relax and chill out with yourself and love yourself and create a beautiful future life for yourself as a single solo artist of life. I feel so good knowing that, you know. I don't at the moment, I don't want to date anymore. I just want to be single forever and be happy being single forever. Like, I might change my mind on that. I might want to be in a relationship in the future, but that's the way I'm feeling right now. And I'm happy with that decision, you know. I'm happy just to get on with my life. And I feel like I've got to get loads of books out while I'm still alive. That's like my lasting legacy, especially to help asexuals. And so I just feel there's so many books in me that are bursting get out, and I've just got to do them. And that's kind of like my life legacy. You know, my mission is to get asexuality recognized as a sexual orientation in its own right throughout the globe, so that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. Every day I strive to make asexuality better known through the podcast interviews I do, radio interviews I do, through this show that I do, through everyday conversations. And I really want that. And I want all the books I do, which are predominantly for asexuals, to be featured in people's lives. I want people to read them. I want people to know what asexuality is in terms of real lived experience, because that's what I write from my experience. You know, these books, these best-selling Asexual Perspectives and Diary Confessions books are all written from my life. You know, if you love this show, this Asexualise My Asexual Life channel, you'll love Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual 78 Life Lessons to Asexual Life, because this is like a behind the scenes of this channel. So if you like this channel, please go and grab a copy of Diary Confessions of a Hyper-Romantic Asexual book. You know, 70 life lessons to Asexual life. You'll get tons of value out of the book. And then Asexual Perspectives is also a best-selling book. And this tells you a lot about asexuality, but in real life context. not just give you textbook definitions of it. Anyone can write textbook definitions. People can just get AI and copy stuff off the internet, which is highly not recommended with asexuality because they do get it wrong. I think there's actually an AI book on Amazon because it's got really bad reviews. And when I've even seen the description, I'm thinking, you just made this with AI, right? These are made from my own experience and other people's experience. This is my own experience. This is mine and other people's experience, you know? This gives asexuality context. It shows what love is like, and for asexuals, and life, what life is really like for asexuals, and you know what asexuals really think of sex, you know, in different aspects of it. It shows asexuality in real life context on a daily basis is what this shows in terms of diary writing. You know, like I don't write every single day in this diary, but this shows asexuality in real life context, and it shows it in the person's answers to the questions through their real life asexual story. You know, they're non-fiction books. And so I think these books can really help you. I see so many people and they're just like living off textbook definitions. Textbook definitions don't help you in your asexual journey that much. It helps you kind of like get to know yourself and understand yourself a bit, and to maybe give yourself a label. But you know, do you understand all the nuances of that label? Do you understand all the nuances of asexuality and different perspectives? And do you understand the asexual spectrum? If not, then you know, get this book. Is really good about the asexual spectrum. It shows it you in real life context. It's really good. And Diary Confessions as well. It is good for, like, you know, extension of this channel. So, and I got Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook. This is autobiographical. This is real life stuff as well. So that's on Amazon. They're all on Amazon. So, you know, I'm just proud to be writing my books again, you know, because I've started working on the workbook for the Diary Confessions book. I'm proud to be like thinking like more, what do I want now? What do I want to do? What does Sandra want? What will make Sandra happy? I think it's really important because you get so many people throwing you off your life path. Don't allow them to do that. I get so many requests, I should say, on Facebook to be in people's groups and, you know, like different pages and stuff. And it's like, it just gets too much. You have to say enough is enough sometimes to just focus on what you need to get done. I need to focus on my asexual groups at the moment, not everyone else's other groups, because my asexual groups are the most important because, you know, they're my communities and that's what matters to me the most. So make sure you get your priorities right for you. Say no to other people's agendas. Say no to other people when it doesn't align with what you need to do in your life. Stay focused on you. Keep pushing forward. Keep going for your own goals, ambitions, and dreams. When you do something, when you achieve something, give yourself so much joy. Feel the joy and happiness in your heart. Just praise yourself and think you did a good job. Well done. You know, the more you feel happy in the things you do by yourself, with yourself, and for yourself, but for others as well, with your mission, then you're happy you'll be, because you'll feel fulfilled, satisfied, and happy on your own, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not. And yeah, enjoy the single life because it's beautiful, and take pride in being you. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Thank you for everyone who's been in chat tonight. Love you dearly. I'll see you soon on the next video live stream. Lots of love. Don't forget to grab the books on Amazon, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Bye.